just be a short presentation of how technology transfer and commercialization takes place in DOST-ASTI. Okay, so the Technology Licensing Office is a unit in DOST-ASTI which is in charge of protecting the intellectual property assets of the agency, as well as managing the technology transfer by means of public good, government extension, or commercialization. Okay, so this is a brochure, and I know the text is too small, but we can give you a PDF copy of our information material for further reference. Here are some of our activities. Number 1, intellectual property protection. And we also coordinate end-user license agreements, research agreements, collaborative research agreements, as well as memorandum of agreements wherein the subject technology is being promoted to be adopted by either government or private institutions. And we also do technology transfer activities focusing on public good, extension service, and licensing. Apart from that, we also lead the business negotiations, meetings with stakeholders, and other similar activities and engagements. So just to have a brief background about the process of technology transfer in ASTI, of course, it starts with a research idea, and then we will try to come in and protect the research idea if it's already possible. And then we enter into a research agreement or a memorandum of agreement or a non-disclosure agreement or any types of agreement which will further assist the researchers and protect the IP assets of DOST-ASTI. And then there goes the research and development, and upon which we again conduct another IP protection process if there are more intellectual properties involved as a result of the R&D, and we will draft the end-user license for the end users, software licensing agreements or other agreements in order to distribute the outputs of the technologies. So all throughout, you would see that intellectual property is the most valued asset of our research and development products or outputs. Here are some of our activities. So this one was conducted in Bohol in 2018. So the PSTC there organized a stakeholders meeting with DOST-ASTI. So at the lower part, the picture on the lower right is the team who managed the event. You would see their attorney Ras, our technology transfer lawyer from DOST-TAPI. If we would be asked who are our primary customers or the primary sectors that we serve, of course, we serve the government agencies, local government units, government-owned and controlled corporations, as well as the academy. Okay, so due to this, we share by means of or by reason of public good, and as of the moment, these types of data are available. Number 1, weather data from SEED, raw satellite images, derived geospatial data from AI for mapping. In order to access or request for certain data related to this, you have to write a letter of request addressed to the head of ASTI, submit a copy of government-issued ID, and accomplish and sign the end-user license agreement issued by ASTI TLO. Okay, for those who are interested to try Gulay, right now, it was discussed that it's still on testing phase, but just in case you want to be among the first end users of the said technology, as early as now, you may Of course, submit a letter addressed to the head of the agency, accomplish a survey form for target users. This will be provided by TLO. Provide a point person for coordination, MOA between, and then we can prepare a MOA between ASTI and the academic institution later on. So ngayon po, we are accepting potential users. If you want to try or to test it, we can do this ahead of time. And of course, we also serve the private sector. So how do we do this? Of course, we do this through the commercialization process, and by means of a commercialization process, we look for private institutions who are willing to adopt the technologies through the FOB process. So here are the summary of terms of some of the technologies that were discussed earlier. The first one is the ERP, which was discussed by Ms. Larios, and the upfront fees for this, if you are the first one who will adopt this, is waived. For the royalty payments, it will be 7.5% of the gross sales, and this will be paid every year. For the minimum revenue, we can negotiate and discuss the details through a private meeting with the TLO and or the researchers. For AI for mapping, the same terms apply. Okay, so we are focusing our marketing in four MASID technologies. We are hoping to get licenses for the four stations. The first one is the Tsunami alerting station. The upfront fee is 63,000, and this shall be paid upon signing the technology licensing agreement. The royalty payments for this is 5% of the gross sales, and this shall be paid annually. And for the minimum revenue, we have 126,000, which shall be paid on the end of each year. So for disaster early warning system, the upfront is 139,000 upon signing the TLA. 5% is the royalty, and the minimum revenue per year is 139 to be paid at the end of each year. Please take note that the upfront fees are creditable as minimum revenue for the first year, and the minimum revenue is creditable to annual sales or the royalty payments. So mukha siyang malaki, pero actually it's like more of an advance payment rather than additional payments. Okay, so if you need details, we can discuss that through private meetings. Next slide, please. And we also have the automated weather station. It has the same terms in terms of upfront fees. I'm sorry, the upfront fees, we don't have any upfront fees for this, but you should be able to pay within 60 days upon signing a project contract or a client contract. So the royalty payments is 5% of the gross sales to be paid per year, and every year you have to have 250,000 pesos minimum revenue. So ibig sabihin po nito, since we don't have a licensee yet for AWS, gumagawa kami ng special offer para po sa mga gustong mag-adapt ng technology na to. And then for Agromet, it's also the same, waived upon signing of TLA, yung upfront fees, the gross sales, the royalties payments is 5%, and the minimum revenue per year is 300,000. Next slide, please. So additional members for MASID, the license to sell and maintain the stations is for 3 years, and this is renewable. Field of use is meteorological data, territories, Philippines. And for Tsunami early warning system, we had some meetings with FIVOX, and they are very supportive to the introduction of tsunami early warning to other government institutions and organizations who are interested. But they want to have a partnership with the licensee who will produce it, because they will have several activities that would help the local government units in promoting the technology. So here are some of the benefits of the licensee. It's an end-to-end solution. You can, of course, use the field sensor as of the moment in order to see the data that you have gathered in your own weather station. The licensee may also opt to package the stations with their own servers. So if you want to put up your own DRRM headquarters, you can use the stations, no? And you can also maintain the 2,211 stations that are already deployed nationwide. So ito po, yung pag-maintain, of course, you have to negotiate with the owners and or enter into a contract with Pag-asa. So ito po, tinitignan namin as potential additional revenue. So ang revenue po is not only on selling the stations but also on maintaining. And of course, you get free consultation services in the first year. So if you have questions these are the licensing requirements. I know you need the documents in detail. We can send you the list for your reviews. If you have questions on licensing or on the end user license agreements for public good purposes, you can send us an email or set an appointment with the TLO and researchers for a virtual meeting. Here is our email address, tlo@asti.dost.gov.ph. Thank you po, and looking forward to a fruitful collaboration.